Who was sitting around the
Who was
graves?
sitting around the graves?
That's right. Families were
Right,
sitting
family.
around the graves.
The
Whose graves were they
graves
sitting around?
were they sitting
Whose
around?
graves
Whose
were they sitting around?
were they sitting around?
Yes, their
Yes.
dead ancestors.
The dead
Their ancestors.
ancestor.
Their ancestors' graves.
Ancestor
They were sitting
graves.
around the
They're sitting
graves of their
around
dead
the grave,
ancestors.
the great ancestor.
Were they sitting around the graves
Were they sitting
of
around
their dead
the
ancestors? Or
the dead
the graves
ancestor
of
grave
their
of
friends?
their friends?
Ancestors, right? They were
Ancestor.
sitting around the
They were
graves
sitting
of their
around
dead
great
ancestors.
ancestor.
They cleaned the graves
They
and
clean
added
the
fresh
graves.
flowers.
Fresh flower.
Okay. Who cleaned the graves?
Who clean the
That's
graves?
right, the families.
Family.
What did they add?
What did they add?
They added fresh flowers.
Flower.
Did they add food?
Food?
No. They didn't add food.
They didn't add food.
Did they add money?
Money?
No. They didn't add money. They added fresh flowers.
Flower.
What did they clean?
What did they clean?
They cleaned the
cleaned
graves.
The graves.
Whose graves did they clean?
Did they clean?
Their ancestors.
The
right?
ancestor.
They cleaned their ancestors' graves. Where did they add flowers?
Flower.
Where? Oh, they added flowers to the graves.
Flower.
That's right. They cleaned the graves and added fresh flowers.
Fresh flower.
Very good. I walked through the cemetery. And admired the beauty of all the colorful flowers. Where did I walk? Through the cemetery. I walked through the cemetery. Did I walk through the park? No, I didn't walk through the park. I walked through the cemetery. Where did I walk? Through the cemetery. Who walked through the cemetery? I did, AJ. I walked through the cemetery. Did I walk through the cemetery? Did I walk through the park? I walked through the cemetery. That's right. And I admired the beauty of all the colorful flowers. Did I admire the beauty of the trees? No. I didn't admire the beauty of the trees. Did I admire the beauty of the children? No. I didn't admire the beauty of the children. What did I admire? The flowers, right? Yeah, I admired the beauty of all the colorful flowers. Who admired the beauty of all the colorful flowers? That's right. AJ, me, admired the beauty of all the colorful flowers. Where were the flowers? On the graves. Or in the cemetery. Right? The flowers were on the graves. In the cemetery. Were the flowers in the park? No, they weren't in the park. Were the flowers in my house? No, they weren't in my house. Where were the flowers?
Where were the flowers?
The flowers were on the graves
On the
in the
graves.
cemetery.
In the cemetery.
Where did I walk?
Where did I walk?
I walked
I walked
through the
through
cemetery.
The cemetery.
When did I walk through the cemetery?
Through the cemetery.
November 1st, the Day of the Dead. Right, November 1st, the Day of the Dead, I walked through the cemetery.
The cemetery.
What was the cemetery like?
What was the cemetery?
Like a party.
Like a
It
party.
was like a party.
Like
The cemetery was like a party. Was I curious about this holiday?
Was I curious about holiday?
Yes, I was curious about this holiday.
About this holiday.
Which holiday?
Which holiday?
Was I curious about?
Was I curious about?
Yeah, the Day of the Dead.
The Day of the Dead.
I was curious about the Day of the Dead.
The Day of the Dead.
So I walked through the cemetery. There was also color in the sky.
Color in
because
the sky.
many kids were flying kites. Where was the color? In the sky, that's right, in the sky. Why was there color in the sky?
In the sky.
Because kids were flying kites. The kites. There was color in the sky because kids